Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast, Retro Life for You. My name is Chris Adams, host of the show, and with us this week, as always, Marty Phillips. Marty,
Well,
how you doing?
hello there, Christopher. I'm doing pretty good.
All right. Well, we not going to waste much time here. We're going to jump straight into it. This week, we're doing a bit of Karate Kid 3. We've been talking about this for a little bit since we went to the Nashville Comic Con, and we found us a guest to bring on to talk about it with us, and I'm going to go ahead and bring him on now. So, bringing to the stage here, if you will, Mr. Sean Kanan.
Hey guys, how are
Hey,
you?
man.
Hey,
Pretty good. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. Good to be here with you.
Oh, we appreciate it. Appreciate you being in here with us. I just gonna jump straight into it, man. I got some questions. I just learned some things tonight I didn't know. I mean, I've always watched the movie as a fan, right? And
Okay, that's better
I
than a crit. That's better than a critic.
that's right.
yeah.
I don't like to be critical of the things I grew up watching that I love watching and everything. And that's why I was surprised to see some of the things. Like I've seen where some of the people weren't really happy with Karate Kid, the people in the movie, such as
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio, for example, said they weren't overly thrilled with I guess maybe the overall product, the end product or something. I don't know if they felt like it was rushed or something, but do you know much about this or anything? Or
Well, the film had some issues because Martin Cove was originally supposed to be uh, the main bad guy and have a much larger part. And Marty was doing a television series for Disney, I believe, called Doing Time on Planet Earth, and they couldn't get him out of his contract for Disney so that he could do the full breadth of the role that I guess had been created for him for Karate Kid 3. So they created the role of Terry Silver, who turned out to be fantastic.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but that created problems because you don't want to be rewriting your film once you really have it set. I think there was some I think the fans, there was like ambiguity with what was the relationship with Robin Lively's character. They were friends, not really a romantic interest, and that maybe was a little more difficult to follow. I guess I don't know. Um, and then I think there's the other issue that people felt like Daniel had fought for his life with Chosen in Okinawa, and now he's back to fighting in a tournament, and a lot of people think that Karate Kid 3 should have been the second one, and Okinawa should have been, Karate Kid 2 should have been the third one.
I
And
could
I
see
see,
that.
I see their point.
Yeah,
You know,
I could see it's a very good point. I could definitely see that. Um, for anybody who may not have seen Karate Kid 3 yet, which I can't imagine who that would be. But like you said, this is Daniel coming back from Okinawa with Mr.
Mhm.
Miyagi, and he's got the All Valley tournament papers ready to go, and he wants to defend his title. But Mr. Miyagi doesn't want to be a part of it because he wants their karate to mean something, not just
Right,
defending a plastic trophy. He says so.
right.
He decides not to do it and agrees with
Mhm.
him not to do it, and then enter Mike Barnes.
Right.
Terry Silver brings in Mike Barnes to be the next bad boy for Cobra Kai. That's going to bring honor back to Cobra Kai, I guess, and bring revenge for John Kreese. Um, when you first got in the audition and for it and everything, you seen what the character Mike Barnes was like. Was he always the intimidating type, like intimidating kind of bully, strong
The
arm,
bad
or
boy.
was the bad boy like they call him, or was it a little bit different at first?
No, the character in the breakdown was described as a 17-year-old white Mike Tyson. That's what the breakdown was.
Okay.
And they wanted somebody that they felt could truly be intimidating and instill fear in Daniel. It's funny. I don't. I never thought of I didn't really think of myself as that kind of guy. I mean, I guess I on some level I must have some of that inside of me, but you know, uh, I remember I had been bullied a lot as a kid, and I think I just sort of created an amalgamation of a lot of guys I knew that I would have crossed the street if I saw. And Mike Barnes is what came out of me.
Wow. Do you remember as far as when you were auditioning for it? I know there was a lot of people that had
Yeah.
auditioned for the role.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. You can actually Google Sean Kanan Entertainment Tonight, and you can see me standing in line with literally thousands of other guys. And the moment John Avildsen walks up and starts talking to me, and that's exactly what happened, because Entertainment Tonight was there and they filmed the whole thing. And you carry around these memories in your head of the seminal moments of your life, and usually they're refracted through a prism of perception and experience and things, and they rarely look exactly like what really happened. But I'm fortunate enough that there is an actual video of what really happened, and it's funny, it really aligns pretty closely with my memory of what happened, because it was such a big deal in my life.
Do you remember any of the actual? Were there any people that you knew already, as far as being in the acting business, that were there against you for the role? Any like notable names or anything like that?
Well, I had heard that Brad Pitt actually auditioned for it, believe it or not. Brad wasn't at the open call, but gosh, seems like somebody really wants to get in my front door. Um, um, there were a lot of people that auditioned for it. I just happened to go to the open call, and I don't. Well, William Christopher Ford was there, okay,
Mhm.
who wound up playing Dennis, and John Avildsen's son um, auditioned for the role, screen tested actually for the role. Um, but I didn't really know anyone who was. I mean, I was just kind of there on my own, just winging a prayer, hoping something was going to happen, and the angels were looking out for me that day.
You
Yeah.
mentioned John Avildsen's son. Wasn't that the one that ended up playing Snake in the
Yes, that
long
is
run?
correct. Yes, he played Snake.
I thought I read that earlier, and I was trying to picture him playing the role of Mike Barnes.
Well, yeah,
I
he
couldn't put
actually
it.
he actually screen tested for it. He did a good job.
Yeah. Um, and I believe you were already. I think of all the people who's been in the previous two films. And
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the one that's had the most training actually in martial arts.
Well, no, that's not actually true. Rob, or Ron Thomas, Rob Thomas, Ron Thomas actually, is really the real deal. I mean, he's a phenomenal martial artist, and had extensive training. Um, Billy Zabka, I would say Billy and I probably had about the same amount of training, if I had to
Okay.
guess. But Billy was, really good, did a fantastic job. But I had trained in Shito-ryu, Japanese karate, which is actually very similar to what Mr. Miyagi taught Daniel. And also, uh, Fumio Demura, who was a teacher of mine, I was lucky enough to study with him a little bit, was Pat Morita's stunt double. So it was he played an integral role in my getting that part, because I think he kind of vouched for my martial arts ability, to John Avildsen, and said, that I had good foundational skills enough where they could, make me look pretty close to what they had in mind.
Okay. Um, Now, was this your first role in the movies, or did you previously?
No,
I know
I had
I know
done.
you've been in several soap operas, but I didn't know if that was before or after Karate
No,
Kid.
no, no. I had done a couple of television shows before that, but this was obviously far and away my biggest role, up to that point.
Cool. Marty was talking to me earlier. He had a question. He was wondering about what was it? Cut scenes, Marty.
Yeah, like deleted scenes. I was wondering if there were any cut scenes or.
You, I can't be 100% sure, but I don't think so. There's nothing that I remember filming that didn't make it. I mean, they choose different takes because that's how you edit a movie, but from a story point of view, I don't really remember us filming anything that some part of it didn't wind up in the story. You know, it's funny. I really wish though that there had been more backstory for Mike Barnes, because I think if we knew why Mike Barnes had come down to Los Angeles, you know, and was willing to do all of this, because he kept saying this isn't personal, it's business. And you know, in the back of my mind, I always played it that, you know, Mike needed money for an operation for his mom or something like that. You know, but if he would have had a why that I think the audience could have resonated with, it would have been very interesting to see that. Rather than him just kind of being this unidimensional thug, which is, you know, very much what I think they wanted. Which is another reason why I was so happy to go to Cobra Kai, because, you know, 35 years later, when we see Mike Barnes, he's a much more evolved and kind of nuanced character than in the film.
It is kind of cool though to have a character that you played still be really relevant that long after the movie. I mean,
That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, you don't do a film and think that 35 years later, you know, you're gonna have an audience for it, or that there's interest in it. And um, you know, what a gift, what an amazing opportunity after all those years, not only to play the role, and not only to be a part of what was, you know, a worldwide hit, but it was really great to reconnect with Ralph and Billy and all the people involved with it, to work with Yuji, who, you know, Mike Barnes and Chosen never would have crossed paths in the Karate Kid universe, but in the Cobra Kai universe, we did, and got to have some really fun scenes together. So it was just a tremendous experience all the way around.
Mm. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, like the whole fight in the furniture store between you and Chosen. So
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was
yeah.
funny.
It was a lot of fun. Really had a good
so
time. You know, when the big three told me, they said, "So yeah, Mike Barnes is going to come back and he's going to have a furniture store," and I was like, okay, okay, I'm gonna, obviously you guys know what you're doing, but I'm not understanding it yet. I'm sure I will. And
we're
of
gonna run
course,
with it.
it worked out really well.
So the whole thing with Chosen, you know, kind of, I don't want to say facing off with you in the furniture store. Y'all did have a fight, but it
Mhm.
leads to the question. It leads to the question that everybody wants to know: who's going to win in the fight ultimately between the three, you know, baddies from the films? It's good. You get yourself. You got Johnny Lawrence. You got Chosen. I mean, obviously it's Mike Barnes, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
well, listen. When I flew down to Atlanta and knew that I was going to have a fight with Johnny Lawrence, I had a pretty good idea Johnny was going to win, because, you know, he and Ralph are the stars of the show. So I didn't think I was going to win that fight. Um, you know, I don't know. I mean, look, this, you know, we're not talking about Sean, Billy, and Yuji, but I think that Mike Barnes was a national champion. You know, Johnny won a regional small tournament in the Valley. However, Johnny kept working as a sensei. So who knows? I think it's one of those on any given Sunday deals. You know, that any of them could probably get the upper hand against the other one anytime, and it wouldn't necessarily always be the same one.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, good answer. Good
Good
answer.
answer. Diplomatic,
That's
right?
diplomatic way. Nobody's offended.
That's
Everybody's
right. That's
happy.
right.
Mhm.
That's
You
right.
know, the fans of Johnny Lawrence out there are saying, "Well,
Yeah.
he handled that great. I like that." The whole justice for Johnny thing is
Yeah, yeah.
resurfacing again. You know,
Uh-huh.
um, Marty, what else was it you had? You said,
Oh,
yeah,
how was it working with Pat Morita? I was wondering how that was
Wow,
during.
that was a very special thing. I mean, you know, I grew up watching Pat as Arnold in Happy Days.
mm-hmm,
So I was already starstruck with him before he ever became Mr. Miyagi. And, you know, I always say this. I was a guy that bought a ticket to go see the Karate Kid. I was a guy that bought a ticket and sat in the audience to go watch the Karate Kid too. And then suddenly there I am, and I'm the bad guy in Karate Kid 3 working with Pat Morita. I mean, it was surreal, you know. It was really incredible, and it was an honor that I had the chance to work with Pat before he passed away.
did it feel intimidating in any way? I mean, coming into a franchise like that, that's
You know, I
already
think I think I was too young and stupid and to be intimidated. Do you know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
I was kind of a whole lot of piss and vinegar and testosterone and not a whole lot of experience. And it's there's this great movie that I like, For the Love of the Game, with Kevin Costner, and he's pitching this
Mhm.
perfect game, and they send this rookie up, and they say, wreck it. And the kid's a rookie, and he doesn't get the gravity of it. They don't send a veteran in there. They send a guy who doesn't probably get the enormity of the moment, and so he's got the best chance of doing it. And I kind of felt a little like that. Had I been a more mature and seasoned actor, I probably would have taken all of that in, and maybe it would have had a different effect on me. But at the time, no, it was strange for the first couple days, and then it became very apparent very quickly that there was a lot of money on the line, that I had a job to do, and there was a lot expected of me, and there was no room for shenanigans. I mean, I had to be very serious with it and focused, and I had a lot to learn. I mean, every business has its own language. If you work in an operating room, they've got their own lingo. If you're a fireman, they've got their own lingo. Well, a film set is no different. And so there's a whole lingo, and I'm on the set, and I don't know the lingo. I mean, everything was new and first time for me, basically. So
Mhm.
I tried my best to shut my mouth and keep my ears open. I didn't always succeed, but I learned a lot. I probably made a lot of mistakes, but I think at the end, it worked out okay.
Um, Taking your character up into the Cobra Kai,
Mhm.
making your comeback on there and everything. You see the storylines for everybody now that it's all done with who went where, what happened with what, and everything. Do you Would you see? I'm not asking if they're doing one, but if you had a spinoff of Mike Barnes' character,
Mhm.
what direction would you see him going in
I
that?
got this great idea for it. Here you go. You remember The Odd Couple?
Yes.
You got
Mhm.
Chosen and Mike Barnes are living together in an apartment in the valley, and Chosen's drinking and he's a slob, and Mike Barnes is a neat freak, and they are detectives by day, and they're trying to negotiate the 50 plus dating scene at night. And I see it as kind of a comedy. you know they're like, look, we're not opening, we're not going to do the thing everyone expects, we're not opening up a dojo together, and they somehow get into being PIs or something like that.
Yeah, he's already bringing the comedy feel, and then
Right.
when Chosen come back anyway, he's already bringing that comedy feel to
Yeah.
the Cobra
Yeah.
Kai series. I could
Yeah.
definitely see something like that to be
They're
funny for
going out on
sure.
dates. I mean, they can't figure it out. They think they're a lot cooler than they are. You know,
It's almost a Night of the Roxbury kind of feel the way you describe
Totally,
it. You know,
totally.
a
Yeah,
cross between Night of the Roxbury and the Odd Couple. There we
exactly.
go.
I
There
like
we
it.
go.
There's the pitch. So Sony, if you're listening, give me a call.
Well, I mean, they've paved the way for so many different things like this now. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and with Cobra Kai, there is several spin-off. If you think
Oh, of
about it, really
course.
several spin-off possibilities that they could do.
What
And
I think what the big three have done is show people that there's a world of possibility that pays homage to the canon material, but shows characters in a very different light, and it works. I mean, if you had said after watching The Karate Kid, hey, we're gonna do a show about Johnny Lawrence and it's gonna be pretty funny, you'd be like, I don't know that's gonna work. But the reality is that in Cobra Kai, the characters became very multidimensional, um, more so in a lot of ways than they were in the films. Not the least reason of which is that they're all, the 35 years older. I mean, people evolve, they change, they grow, they learn, they don't
mhm.
learn, and that's, I think, what makes human beings interesting.
I think a lot of people, when it comes to Cobra Kai, they get their own understanding of it or the way they want to understand it.
Hmm.
I think now I had read somewhere, and now I've been finding out lately everything you read on the internet is not true, right?
No,
No, I mean, I
come
don't understand
on.
this. I mean, there's Wikipedia for crying out loud. I mean, surely it's
Right.
honest. But you know, I've read in several places, not Wikipedia. I'm just kidding about that. But the original idea with Cobra Kai, it was like a redemption for Johnny Lawrence, and
Mhm.
you know, of course, you were gonna have Daniel LaRusso in it, and throughout the series, I mean, even at the end of it, it still comes out. You know, Johnny Lawrence's redemption comes through. You know,
Absolutely.
he's changed all the way around to being a good guy. He's a family man now.
Yeah.
He's now a world champion
Yeah.
on the Sekai Tekai, I think it was called.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, so but some people still think it's really more about Daniel and Miyagi-Do karate in the Cobra Kai series, but it's
But I
called
think,
Cobra Kai. I
but
mean,
here's the thing. I think it's a little like I'm a huge fan of the original Star Trek, right?
yeah.
And you got people who love Captain Kirk, and you got people who love Spock, you know, and it's they're both right. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, maybe you gravitate towards one or the other, but I think that it's the synergy between the two characters that is accountable for largely accountable for the success of the show. I don't in any way want to negate the younger generation of actors because they're terrific,
Mhm.
but the heart of the show is the relationship of these two guys that are aging and have always sort of been at opposition with each other and who form this, very unlikely and very often fragile friendship.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's such a great cast all around.
Oh yeah.
Everything from the original Karate Kid up into Cobra Kai that you guys have all done. There's been so many great people come through this series,
Absolutely.
and the young ones to carry it through now. I think they
Yeah.
couldn't have picked a better group of
No,
kids
no.
to
Terrific.
carry it
Terrific.
forward.
Absolutely.
Um, and when we mentioned the Nashville Celebrity Comic Con you were just at recently, and
Mhm.
I think you and Yuji were right next to each other table
Yeah.
wise, and
Yeah.
I'd come seeing you for a minute. I was waiting for him to come back to his table as well.
Yeah.
He is actually a very funny guy.
Oh, he's very
I
funny.
mean,
He's
yeah,
he's a good guy, So I mean, so's Billy, so's Rob. They're all really good guys. No one has an inflated ego. I mean, we all love the fans. We appreciate, the support that the fans have given us. We go to these things and we like interacting with the fans, and you get to know people after going to these. And yeah, Yuji's he's just a solid dude, man. He really is.
I
He's come to my hometown in Pennsylvania a couple times to support my sensei's martial arts tournament. I mean, it doesn't get much better than Yuji.
I told him I had been watching a movie called Better Off Dead. If you don't know if you remember that or not,
Oh, that's a
$2.
waste of a perfectly good white boy,
$2. Yeah, I mean, so
right?
I
That's the
told
great
him
line.
I said I'm sitting here watching this movie and I'm looking. I said that looks like
Yuji.
no, it can't
Yeah.
be. And then I looked at the end credits and it was. I was like,
Yeah.
I said that Howard Cosell. That was something else.
Yeah.
He had a
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
impersonation and stuff. And he was
Yeah.
laughing and said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, he had done that in a Real Genius back to or
Yeah.
well, same
Yeah.
time actually." So,
Isn't that crazy? He's done
yeah, I
a lot of
mean,
work.
a lot of comedy routines in the past. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, Marty, do you have anything to throw in? Did you anything else you wanted to ask too? I got a few more
Well,
questions to throw out there for sure, but I'm trying not to keep you out here.
I was wondering if maybe even if the studio has approached, Sean and Billy and Ralph about maybe even doing, something like maybe even Karate Kid 4. I mean, with the popularity of Cobra Kai,
Yeah. Well, nobody's approached me yet, but I listen. I listen to all offers, all ideas. Sure. I mean, I love the Karate Kid Cobra Kai universe. Like I said, I started out as a fan, and so it would be tremendous to be a part of extending it if that ever becomes a reality.
Cool.
Is there anything in Karate Kid 3 that you didn't like as part of the movie that you wish you could change for something else?
It would have been cool if I won All Valley tournament. That would have been good.
Well, that would kind of defeat the whole purpose of the Daniel LaRusso story, though, I'm sure. But hey, I mean, why not though? I mean, they had John Lawrence being the champion. Why not Mike Barnes?
I think if I had to pinpoint anything, I would have removed a lot of the racist dialogue that Mike Barnes had towards the end. I think on the one hand, though, it was effective because Daniel had never heard that. Daniel had never heard somebody treat his teacher like that. And I think that really helped personify just how scary and inside Daniel's head Mike Barnes was. For me, for Sean, I find stuff like that detestable, but it worked for the movie. I don't think you could do it today.
There's a lot of things today you can't do that you
and maybe that's a good thing. But we have to remember that not everybody is politically correct and always a great person. There are representations of people that there are people out there like that, and that's part of when you have a film. Not everybody is monolithically the same mindset and politically correct and everything like that. I mean, that's what makes characters interesting and creates conflict, which is the basis that drives story. But I think I could have still achieved all of that without resorting to that. But I do also think it was effective.
It was definitely a powerful scene. Everything from you just pummeling him to the end, him falling to the ground, Miyagi running over, getting on the ground with him, trying to get him up and back at him, and that whole powerful scene between them.
It was a powerful scene.
Him being scared and everything, admitting he's scared. It was a really big thing and all. The only thing I think that I wanted to see different, I know why they didn't put like an entire tournament scene together like in the first one. You don't want it to be exactly like the first one. Plus, you've already got so much other movie in there. You don't want to make it any longer than you have to. You got probably a certain time frame they're shooting for. But the way the fight ended, I mean, in the first movie, you get him doing like the crane thing, right? The whole crane kick. All we got in the third one was a kata.
Yeah, Mike got baffled by a kata. He's not exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer.
I mean, you've been beating the crap out of him the whole time, and suddenly he starts twirling around in a kata, and you're confused and don't know what to do. And then you coming at him with like a straight running punch or something, it looks like, and he flips you over for the jab.
They gave me the choreography and I said yes sir, and I did it. So
I understand that completely.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think that's my only gripe, if I had a gripe at all. And even back then when it came out, I had no gripes about it. I still liked it. It was Karate Kid, and I always loved the movie franchise. So, but I was just thinking, I watched it earlier today. I always rewatch the movies before I do a podcast, so everything's fresh in my mind and everything. And I was thinking to myself, how great would it have been if there was some kind of new maneuver he had done that was not just him doing a kata?
I agree. He could have done like a Three Stooges thing.
I would have even taken that. I would have even taken him doing the little like the here and you countering it exactly, as you're coming in. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just
I'm with you. I definitely there's a real argument for that. I hear you.
Fan approaching you, whether it be Comic Cons or on the street, out in public somewhere. What's the weirdest thing a fans come to you with in reference to Karate Kid?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if weird. I mean, I get a lot of fans who sort of dress up, cosplay, that sort of stuff. And what always surprises me is how many people like to dress up like Mike Barnes. And I'm like, he was a really bad guy. But people like the character. It never ceases to amaze me and flatter me. I can't think of anything really super weird, but it's always the word delightful comes to mind. Seeing people dressing up their kids, or guys in their 40s dressing up, in the full, sleeveless black gi and everything. And I think it's awesome, man. It's a testament to the durability of the franchise, and that it just has stuck with people and struck a chord.
I get asked all the time, do I dress up at these Comic Cons? I'm like, that is not my cup of tea. I'm sorry. I do not do the dress ups. No.
But we did see a lot of people dressed up at the Comic Con too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I get it. They're having fun. They're enjoying themselves. They put a lot of money in these people put a lot of money into these things and go, and so it's good. So when you were approaching Cobra Kai after all these years, your character Mike Barnes, did you have any input to your character coming back of how he would be doing? I know you get the gist of what he was doing. He had a furniture factory or whatever, but did you have any input with his direction or anything?
So I had a Zoom meeting with John and with Josh, and they asked me. They said, how do you see Mike Barnes, all these years later? And I said, look, far be it from me to tell you guys who created a hit show what to do. I said, I would, though, like to make two requests. And the first is that, whatever and wherever we find Mike Barnes 35 years later, that we've seen some evolution, that he's not the same person. Maybe he's worse, maybe he's better, but he's not the same. I'd like to think that most people don't go through 35 years of life and don't evolve or change in some way. And I said, the other thing is, I want to see Mike be a little funny, because, humor is at the heart of Cobra Kai. There's a lot of funny stuff in Cobra Kai. And, they provided both of those requests in spades. I couldn't have asked for any more. The stuff between Chosen and Mike Barnes, I think, was really a lot of fun. And we see that Mike Barnes has become a different guy. He's trying to be a better man until they burn his store down, and then we see that the bad boy still resides in his heart.
Well, they asked for it. I mean, they burnt your business down. I mean, I'll tell you something funny I noticed about
F around and find out.
Right. FAFO. I did notice something kind of funny. I never thought about this till we went to the Comic Con. I think I was talking to Marty about it, or maybe one of our other friends that went with us. But when the first Karate Kid came about, I think Ralph was 25, 26, something like that. I think I've seen where the girl that plays his daughter, Mary, I think her name is, she was about the same age playing the role of the high school kid in Cobra Kai. I mean, it's like starting all over again. I mean, it's like practically the same age, doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Same family line here.
There's a poetic symmetry to that, I guess, huh?
I guess. I mean, Ralph still looks young enough to play a high
school. He does. He looks terrific.
I think him and Tom Cruise are vampires or something, but that's all I could figure from that. I got one more question for you about the Karate Kid universe, and I want to touch on this new movie we were talking about just before we started. But working with Martin Cove and Thomas Ian Griffith as part of the big baddies in the third one there, what was it like working with the two of them, being a part of that trio? Because I know this was Thomas Ian Griffith's first, and it's funny, he was actually younger than Ralph Macchio,
right?
But he was playing older than him.
Yeah.
But you guys together, all three of y'all together as the bad guy roles and everything. What was it like being a part of that and working with them?
In a lot of respects, I didn't have to work too hard. Those two are terrific and were scary, and the three of us meshed together, I think, well. And again, I had watched Marty in the first two films, and John Kreese was a scary, intimidating guy. So, a lot of what Mike was playing, Sean was playing, which was just shut up and do what you're told. And Thomas was terrific. Um, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, and it was hard, but it was also a very exciting experience for me too.
Uh, Thought just hit me. I guess I just made myself into a liar. I got actually one more question. I'd read you did a lot of your own stunts, and that you
Yeah,
actually
I did all my own stunts.
and that you got hurt on set
I did.
doing some of the things. What was the part? They said I think I read you were falling forward or something
I
on the
was
ground.
a silly scene where I was standing and just sort of had to jump and land on my side, and we did it like a dozen times. I basically sprung a leak inside. I had internal bleeding.
Hmm.
Uh, Christmas Day, 1988. Passed out in Las Vegas, and the doctors told me they weren't sure they could save my life, and
Wow.
fought my way back into the world, and then fought my way to keep my role in the film, and did all my own stunts.
And see, that's where I was leading up to that. You said you had to fight to keep your way into the film. Were they going to replace you? I
Yes, they
honestly,
were.
I honestly read with Brandon Lee.
Yeah, that's what they told me. That's what
Really,
they
I
told me. Yeah,
see. I'm sitting
Yeah.
there thinking. I was
yeah.
trying to picture.
There were no balloons and no flowers from. It was come back in 2 weeks, or we're finding somebody else, and it pissed
Wow.
me off. I was like, you know what, this is bullshit. I mean, this wasn't my fault. This happened, and I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm getting the hell out of this bed, and then I'm getting the hell out of this hospital, and I'm coming back to set, and I'm going to finish what I started, and I did.
No, we're glad
Well,
you made it through that and everything. That's a
Me
that,
too.
that
Beats the
internal
alternative.
bleedings. It does. It does. I mean, that internal bleeding is a crazy thing. I mean, not noticing what was going on till what's
Well,
almost too late, and
what happened was, we broke for Christmas, and I was having a lot of pain in my left thigh. I just figured that was from all the karate I was doing. And
mm-hmm,
so I started taking aspirin. Well, aspirin's a blood thinner. And the
mm-hmm.
pain in my thigh was blood dripping down on my femoral artery, agitating it, on the nerves in my leg. And that's what was creating the pain. So I had been bleeding for days. And by the time I passed out, went into shock, I'd lost a tremendous amount of blood. And
Wow.
they had me sign a piece of paper saying, we can't guarantee we're going to save your life, and you go into surgery in 10 minutes. And I was like, shit just
Yeah,
got very, very real.
very real. That's rough,
exactly. Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Hearing something like that when you have all
Yeah.
this going your way and everything, then you get that
Yeah.
hit you. But yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're definitely glad you came through everything though and pushed
Thank
through.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Hey,
very much.
this movie, man, Body Man. Let's talk
Yeah.
about that. I mean,
Yeah.
the trailer for that looks awesome.
Thank you.
Now this is something that your wife is directing.
So my wife directed it, and she and I produced it and wrote it,
Okay.
and I act in it. And
Hmm.
it is set against the backdrop of the human trafficking and fentanyl crisis. It unfolds during a California senatorial race. And it's actually Martin Cove makes a cameo in it.
Hmm.
Martin Cove plays a role in it. And we're real proud of it. We have a sales agent now, and it's going to be hopefully available sometime later this year for everyone to see. But it's a female-driven action film. My wife directed it. She just knocked it out of the park, and I'm just so proud of her. And I get to work with my best friend as my creative partner, and I get to sleep with the director. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're guaranteed a role. You know.
I
Hey,
guaranteed a role, right?
if
I
something
got
happened
job.
to you, something
I got
happens to you
job
in that one, she's
security.
not going to replace you.
That's right.
See, there's
She
there's
better
an
not.
there's an upside to that.
Right?
I mean,
I
but
do.
you got Tom Arnold popping up in there, Emilio Rivera,
Yeah,
Lachlan
yeah.
Monroe. I mean,
Lachlan Monroe. Yeah, I basically just went through and called a bunch of friends and was like,
I,
guys, come on. My buddy John Sheck, who plays one of the leads, he was terrific. He and I were in acting class almost 40 years ago, before I did Karate Kid 3. And Johnny came and played one of the leads. And yeah, it's a real fun film. Um, it's kind of a shoot 'em up, and I can't wait for people to see it. Real proud of it.
So now you said you're waiting for someone to go ahead and come in and I guess like move it forward for you. Is it going to be like an Amazon Prime thing, a Netflix
Well,
thing, going to the big screen, or?
So what happens is once, at least for the track that we're taking for sales, once the film is completed, you get a sales agent, and the sales agent then um, takes it to various distributors, domestic distributors, North American distributors, and to foreign countries, and then they purchase it, and then it can go on all sorts of different platforms. It can go on Amazon, it can go on Hulu. It depends what deals avail themselves. But the next 60 days are going to be really exciting for us because I think that's what we're going to start to get offers.
Yeah, it just feels like the big screens are going away slowly but surely. Everything's
Yeah,
going to
you
the.
know what it is it's so damn expensive to put a
Hmm.
movie in theaters because you got to spend millions of dollars to promote it. And if you don't have that money to market it, you can't compete with the big movies. And if your little movie opens up the same week some big movie does, you get elbowed out, and then
Yeah.
you're SOL.
Well,
So
that's
so
that's
it,
definitely
it's
what I
it's
like about Prime and Netflix.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, I really appreciate you coming on with us this week. I don't want to keep you all night or anything
My
on
pleasure,
here.
Chris. Thank you,
Um,
Marty. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
really enjoyed talking, Karate Kid 3 and Cobra Kai with you, and I'm looking forward to seeing this movie. I don't know if this is going
Yeah,
to come
me
across
too.
the
Me too.
screen. If it's going to come across the screen right or backwards or not, everybody. But look
There it
here.
is. Yeah, and you can feel
Yeah.
free to post the trailer if you want, so everyone can
All
see
right.
it.
Well, I was going
Yeah,
to say it's
absolutely.
they're definitely going to promote it on the page and everything to go
I
through.
sure appreciate it.
'Cause I'm looking forward to seeing it after seeing the trailer myself. I'm really looking forward to
Thank
it.
you.
I love a good action movie, and
Yep.
I don't feel like we get a lot of good ones a lot these days. So there's been a few come out recently, but it just feels like I don't know. It doesn't feel the same as it used to anymore. Like the going. We just mentioned the big screen stuff. Everything seems to be
Yeah.
dwindling down, and some of the action films just don't have the same feel. But some of them
Yeah.
come out pretty good. And this one looks like it's going to be one of those. So
Well,
looking
thank
forward
you. I
to it.
appreciate that. I
Exactly.
appreciate that. I hope you'll spread the word once you see it.
Oh,
Guys,
no,
thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks to you, thanks to your
Yeah.
audience, and thanks to all the Cobra Kai Karate Kid fans. It means the world to me. Thank you, guys. Take
appreciate
care
it.
of
Thank
yourselves.
you.
We'll see you down the road. Thank
Oh,
you.
okay, buddy. Take care, guys.
Bye bye. All right. That's Sean Kanan, Karate Kid 3, Cobra Kai. Let me see if I can get our video here straightened out a little bit, Marty. So it's just two of us here now.
Mm.
That was awesome. He's
Yeah.
he's a very good interview. Very easy to talk to. I'm very thankful he came on, and I know almost didn't happen. I mean, there were some things that happened. I'm not going to go into detail or anything because it's not our place to say. But we definitely put this together the last minute for tonight, and I'm just glad it all came through for us, and we get to talk with him. And I am looking forward, as I said, to this Body Man movie. That looks pretty good. So
Me too. Yeah. I mean, just the trailer alone, I was like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So a good action movie, always a good action movie. So
right. And we'll go ahead and wrap this on up. Since we well, actually, you know what? Before we wrap this up, I think I had something for you I had seen earlier. I was going to bring up to you.
okay.
So let me see if I can find. We're going to go over the box office as well. I was going to do, and then after the box office, we'll go ahead and put our usual stuff out there. But Karate Kid 3 box office estimate, the budget estimated at 12 to 13 million. He's talking about all the many millions of dollars. I mean, it's crazy compared to what it used to be, what it is today that you got to put out for a movie and everything. But the worldwide box office, this was around 38 to 39 million dollars. Now the original made 130 million, and part two made 115. This is why some of the people said that they felt like the third one was kind of a disappointment compared to the first two. But it's like he said earlier, having to do like a quick rewrite of some
Well,
things.
coming off of I mean,
And
literally
a lot of
coming
people
off
said,
of two big blockbuster movies like that, and then coming into the third movie. I mean, it happens like that. I mean,
yeah,
the only franchise that I've ever seen that didn't take a big hit is the Lethal Weapon movies.
right.
So
Well, Lethal Weapon and Die Hard up to 3, I think.
yeah, yeah.
Both of them, both those did fairly good for themselves. But I mean, it's the biggest thing for a lot of people with this one is, like he said, they felt it should have been more like a part two, back to back tournament defenses, and then Daniel goes off somewhere and fights for his life. That kind of makes
Right.
more sense. I don't know though that they planned on making a part three to start with. I mean, they may have only had part two in mind, the sequel, to go ahead and make more money off the first one. And the problem with movies back during that time when it came out, if you remember, everybody was on the sequel train and they wanted to keep milking the money off of things. And
Exactly.
sometimes it just doesn't work out like you want it to. Now, that being said, I still love the movie
Me too.
because it is Karate Kid, and I'm a big fan of the Karate Kid franchise and everything. So I'm not disappointed with the movie itself. Like I mentioned, I would have had something a little bit different for the end of it, the way he won, other than just doing
Well,
like a
I would have definitely have liked to have seen, more, fighting between the two, like between Daniel and Mike Barnes. I mean,
You mean before the
it,
tournament or in the tournament?
no, in the tournament, like instead of just Mike Barnes just pummeling the hell out of Daniel, maybe
But
Daniel getting a few good licks in, and then Mike coming back and then pummeling him again. So,
well, the thing with that, I kind of understand though, because part of that story was him being afraid of
yeah,
Mike Barnes, because that
mhm,
the character was so intimidating to Daniel's character. Now,
yeah,
the only problem with that I have is that he just came from a place where he fought for his own life. I mean, I'm talking, what should have been like a fight to the death, which didn't go that
exactly.
way, but it could have gone the opposite way and he could have died. That
Mhm.
fear of standing up to somebody that bad shouldn't have been
Yeah,
there
that
anymore.
should have just went to the wayside. So
Because Chosen's character was maybe not like as intimidating as Mike Barnes, but he was still a bad boy of
aggressive.
karate, and it was
Yeah.
Miyagi-Do karate at that. So it's
Mhm.
same style versus same style and all that good stuff and everything, right? So,
Yeah.
but anyway, Marty, I'm glad you're able to make it tonight. This is our we're doing back to back nights recording. For those of you who don't know,
Exactly. Yeah.
we just did
Oh,
last night, and last
and
week's episode. Hold on, last week's episode was just one of the guys, and now we're following up with this. And I'm always glad to have a person come on and talk with us, especially if they've been in the film we're going over and had such a good career. I think as Sean has had. I mean, he's done a lot, so much more than what we went over. We just
Mhm.
basically touched on the Karate Kid Cobra Kai universe.
All right.
We didn't really talk about the other many other things he's done. So, but a great actor, and really appreciate him being on tonight. Um, Marty, you got anything you want to toss out there before we close up shop tonight?
No, we've touched on pretty much everything, I guess. Really.
All right. Well, if you guys like the show, make sure you follow us on our social medias there at Instagram and Facebook. Follow us at YouTube, and when you go to YouTube, our handle everywhere is Retro Life, the number 4 YOU, Retro Life for you. When you get to YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell up there so you know we have more things coming out. You're alerted when it does come out. Uh, Follow us, like I said, on Instagram and on Facebook. It's where we try and put most of our stuff out, and we'll be promoting, quite a few things coming up here soon, especially this movie he was talking about called Body Man.
Yeah, Body
Uh,
Man.
I'm gonna see if I can get a link to the trailer and put that out there for everybody, and we'll tag Sean in that as well. And Marty, I guess until next weekend when we come back.
Hmm. Well, you're you're forgetting one thing that we're doing this week too, but
I
I can't really talk too much about what we're
no,
doing this coming up
but
week.
you know what, I was overlooking that for a second. That's right. So Marty, in a couple of days, I'll talk to you again,
Exactly.
and we'll have our next big thing to hopefully announce to all you guys and promote. And if this comes through, you guys will truly enjoy it, just like you have tonight's episode with Sean Kanan. So, in the meantime, we'll go ahead and wrap this up and head on out. Marty, I'll see you in the next episode. And thanks to all of you who listen to the podcast and watch the videos on YouTube. Please share us with your friends and family, get the word out there, and let's see if we can get our subscriber count over at YouTube a little bit more so we can build this community up. Nothing like talking, old movies and old TV and everything that we enjoyed coming up and everything. So
exactly. And let everybody know, stay retro.
Stay retro. See you guys on the next show.